Hey, welcome back to part 4 of New Comics, bitches! Yes, sorry, this is my Catman figure. If only they would make an entire line based on the Secret Six. Although there is a Bane figure out there, I have the Deadshot figure. Now all they need to do is, do a Jeanette, do a Scandal, maybe do a King Shark. Anyway, sorry. I had to show you that because I'm really cool like that. Anyway, okay, so moving on. Another 4.5 out of 5 goes to Animal Man number 4. We have the introduction of the Parliament of Limbs. So, again, what I'm assuming that they mean by that is that these are things that travel, they move about, as opposed to, like a parliament of trees that are just trees. They don't go anywhere. Maxine is a little badass 4-year-old in this issue. And we've got a message to meet an agent of the green. So we have the first real beginnings of the crossover that I've been waiting for since the idea of the red was introduced, and that of course is to Swamp Thing. The danger for the family itself gets more real and gets more surreal at the same time. As Ellen and I can never remember the young boy's name. I can never remember it, and it drives me nuts. But I mean, just wow! I mean, what a fantastic comic book. Jeff Lemire. I mean, he just seems to be right on point with this comic. I mean, I haven't read Sweet Tooth yet. Reading Frankenstein Agent of Shade, that's really good stuff, but it's just not as good as this. This is fantastic. This is fantastic comic book right here, as far as Animal Man is concerned. And Travel Foreman, he is one of the most unusual artists out there, and his style really complements this book. The art style itself is so surreal that, just the imaginings of what it's like to be inside the red, and, the Hunters 3, and, who's out there, and what they plan to do with, with Buddy, and, what they want Maxine for. All these mysteries, it's really compelling, and it's really scary. I mean, this is, becoming a horror book is a pretty big stretch for a character like Animal Man, because I mean it's definitely gone out. It's definitely defied its genre trappings before, when Grant Morrison was writing it, and now it's gone beyond that. It's gone into this whole new realm, as where Morrison's run was very kind of philosophical and psychedelic and so on and so forth. This this is very rooted in surrealist horror, and that's really cool to me. So, just great work, and please keep it up, guys, because it's tremendous. Another 4.5 out of 5 goes to The Last of the Greats number 3. Joshua Hale Fialkoff, Brent Peoples doing their thing for Image. Those of you who did not vote at least 20 times for the test at topcow.com for pilot season 2011, shame on you, because that should have been the one to continue. Believe me, it was really good. That was a 5 out of 5 last week. It was great, and I'm pissed that it might not continue now. Anyway, so we've got The Last getting it on with Oprah. I mean, just in itself, it's so crazy. And we've got, the last, his little, kind of peon, his gopher. He's got an agenda of his own, and what this agenda might mean to the last. That's something that is almost kind of literally mind-blowing. I read this issue and I'm just like, okay, I don't know if my brain can take much more of this. I mean, it's so crazy and so cool, and so, just everything about it is just, it's just great stuff. This is, really high quality. This is very, very, very close to 5 out of 5. Very, very close. I felt that this issue was a little short for me. That's the only kind of trapping that's the only reason I'm not giving it a 5. I felt it was just a little too brief. I wanted it to be longer. I wanted it to be a little bit longer. There's a lot of kind of big, there's some there's some splash pages, some big art, and Brent Peoples' art is really, really good. I'm not saying anything bad about that. I'm just saying that it just it didn't take away from the momentum. I'm not defending my position. I'm just saying I would have liked to have seen just a couple more pages in this here, because this was the finale of this issue was just like, Gah! So that's my imitation of my own brain melting. Gah! If you need to see it again, just comment and ask for it. A 5 out of 5 for this week to a very unlikely source. Batwing number 4. So Judd Winnick gets shit on a lot, and it's not entirely undeserved. He can be a little, but damn it if there wasn't some really, really, really very powerful storytelling in this issue. I've been enjoying this series so far. I think it's a really great addition to the Bat family, because it isn't just, okay, we're in Gotham City or we're wherever and this is what we do. No, we're in Africa. We're in areas that have been war torn and strife filled. It's just this area is a lot more horrific than anything going on in Gotham City, despite how many fucking crazies are there. The real horror of the world is going on in this comic, because we've got the warlords who take young African children, young African orphans. They train them to fight. They make these 10, 11, 12-year-olds into killers, into amoral killers of other human beings, to suit their own needs. And this is where we delve into the past of David, of Batwing himself. When he says, I'm best at terrible things, it's the actual title of this particular issue. It's like, it's terrifying that there is actually a member of the Bat family that has a past like this, because I know that, for example, Cassandra Cain, she's the daughter of, world-class assassins, and Damian Wayne, another world-class assassin child. But, this is someone who has really done horrific things in his life, and is not using, the Bat identity, the Batwing identity to, to keep an oath that was sworn, or to avenge the loss of loved ones. This is his own personal redemption, and that's where this becomes more interesting than your average Bat title. And by average, I mean pretty much everything that isn't written by Scott Snyder. But I just love that they've given David his own very distinct character within the Bat family, and that to me is terrific. I miss Ben Oliver's art in this one. The art in this one was done by Chris Cross. but it was still good art. But the story, everything. I mean, Winnick's writing, his storytelling, really sold it. I mean, this is a great issue of a comic that hasn't been great. It's been good, but it hasn't been great. This is a great issue. So, pick of the week goes to, not surprisingly, Swamp Thing number 4. Scott Snyder continues to compel you as a reader. He continues to terrify the living shit out of you, and he continues to completely take your breath away with pretty much everything he does. This, you know, it's almost not fair that Scott Snyder is working, because it almost knocks everybody else out of contention for Book of the Week, almost pretty consistently. But we've got, that one page that has that really horrifying, twisted, fucked up homage to that Rockwellian portrait of the young man at the soda fountain. It's just, your mind just like, okay, you've taken something really pure and innocent, and you've turned it into hell on earth. And Scott Snyder's very good at that. Is taking these, very kind of, Americana moments like he's doing in Severed right now, and turning them on their head and making them into something terrifying. The real shock of this issue is the revelation, not so much what happens, in regards to William Arcane, but is perhaps the truth, or something akin to that, about Abigail Arcane. Because I love Abby. I've been with her for a long time. I mean, since Alan Moore's run, I've loved the character of Abigail Arcane, but to see her like this, to see her as a potential threat to the Green, that's really, I'm quite frankly scared for the future that her and Alec could potentially have. Because, I mean, you got to admit that part of the reading of this book is kind of hoping that that Alec and Abby get together again in some way. Not just as compatriots, but, as kind of soulmates. And, the resistance of Alec to become, a true agent of the Green, to become their warrior king, as the Parliament of Trees tells him. And their order as far as what to do to Abby was also a big shock to me. But just reading this book, it really, it made me go back and reread Alan Moore's early stuff on this, because it's making me really believe that Scott Snyder's really the first guy since Alan Moore to really put a very unique and very compelling and very horror-centric spin on Swamp Thing. Because he's kind of been in and out of things. He's kind of been, kind of a more ethereal figure in many cases. But when Moore was doing him, it was smart, mature horror. Now, this hasn't reached the levels of mature as far as, for mature audiences only. Or recommended for mature audiences, but it's definitely mature horror. So, I mean, it's just fantastic. I mean, I'm not just blowing smoke up Scott Snyder's ass because I'm hoping that he'll read it. I missed Yannick Paquette's art in this issue, to be fair, but the art here by Marco Rudy is really, really good. So that's it for this week. Thanks for sticking around for this hour. So we'll be back Wednesday night with a special treat for you. So until then, Donald at Donnelly92274 on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. It's James Donnelly. You can find me. Comment, criticize, complain, thumbs up, thumbs down. Please subscribe. I love you. And so that's it. This is Shadow Gallery. We're out for this week, for today. But like I said, be back on Wednesday for a very special treat. See you later.